Throughout the years of the Aku anime, I've always emphasized that I'm a really isolated person. Most of my life, I've never really had friends like that. In high school, I had two close friends and we would play Super Smash Bros. Every Friday. But after we graduated, we barely saw each other. And after graduation, I sort of went into my shell. All my friends were only online. And is that a bad thing? Well, I wouldn't really say so. I've met the greatest people ever on the internet, and they're still my friends. There are some people online who I've known for years that I could tell anything to. But I struggle to ever have that in person. And even though I made friends on the internet, the friendship dynamic has always been distant. All my friends know that I'm a person that needs space. I get very irritated when I'm constantly contacted. I get irritated when people contact me in general. And it has nothing to do with them. It's me. I have a problem where I'm just not social. And then because of this, I would make videos talking about how isolated I would be and how to deal with it or live with it because I've been like this for so long. I always said that I'm the type of person who barely feels lonely. Sometimes I'll go days not talking to anybody or I'll just disappear and it wouldn't faze me, but it would bother other people. And this past year has been very different for me though. This is the first year, well, starting in late 2023 and all of 2024 so far. This is the really the first year where I've actually made friends where I feel like I could rely on for the rest of my life. And they're in person too, not just on the internet. And making these friends, I started to become more social. And one thing I learned from all of this is that we're not meant to face life solo. Something we don't really appreciate often is that since birth, we have to depend on other people. Now, unfortunately, not everybody who we have we have to depend on is there for us. Family is not always there for us, but as we grow older and we integrate into society, we're put in situations that make us rely on the presence of other people, like going to school or getting a job. And don't get it twisted. Being independent as a person isn't a negative thing. It's just you get so much more out of having a support system. I wish I could emphasize more on how much better my life has been since I had people I could exchange ideas with or get advice from or emotional support from. All those years I spent being alone and isolating myself, I didn't realize how much it hurt me because something I would hear what people say like, "Oh, you have to rely on other people or you should have a support system." And I understood that, but I rejected it so much because I'm just not social. And again, I didn't realize how much it hurt me because I would be in my head all the time. If I don't have a network of people to share things with, or I end up not talking to anybody, I end up losing touch of my own compassion and reality. I feel like all the times I've isolated myself or tried to face life alone, I became very desensitized emotionally too. It's very nice to find comfort in other people, but the unfortunate thing about knowing this is that it's not easy for a lot of people. A lot of us struggle to even make friends. I'm one of those people because of my habits. To be an actual friend of mine, it takes a very long time. It's like that with relationships for me too. I'll give somebody a huge amount of care and attention, then I suddenly just disappear or become distant. I can't help it. That's why I said my closest friends, they know not to take it personal. My best friend is somebody who I've known online for about 7 years. We don't speak daily. Sometimes we go a whole week or nearly a whole month without speaking, but randomly I'll be like, can we call? Or I'll just like randomly hit him up or something, and we'll be on a Discord call immediately and we'll laugh and talk about life. These type of connections are the realest. Life is such a challenging thing to go through. It's so much harder when you're facing it alone, because when you are alone or you don't feel you have other people with you, you feel left out. You feel like you don't have a place of belonging. And then what happens is when you come across one of life's complex issues, you either don't know what to do or stress out or become depressed because you have to handle it alone. Think about all the times you're extremely stressed about stuff. Think about how much better or comfortable you would be in those situations if you had the right person to give you the right advice or give you feedback. And we have to call it what it is. It's a form of loneliness. And when we have this loneliness, sometimes we get desperate. See, this is why, if you wonder why people listen or watch these extreme ideology social media figures, a lot of these people are lonely and don't have direction. So they find it through someone else. And look, You can even say that about me in my videos. My topics are very taboo and unorthodox. Clearly, I target a certain demographic of people because that's what I relate to. I'm just talking what goes through my mind. I treat this like a journal to me, like a diary. I hate talking about mainstream or normal things all the time. I personally don't understand how people are so obsessed with like celebrities, for example, or YouTube drama or YouTuber drama or TikTok memes, or TikTok people. I just figured out what that Hawk Tuah crap is. I saw it so many times on the internet, people mentioning it. And then something recommended to me on Instagram. It's the first time I ever heard someone pronounce it. I don't even know if I even pronounced it right myself. I still haven't even seen the original video. And I still don't understand what's so funny about people mentioning it. What's the appeal? And even though I didn't watch the original video, so maybe that's why I don't understand it, I have no motivation to. Look, because I don't get 3/4 of the memes people laugh about. That's why I don't have the motivation to look things up. That's why I'm saying clearly most of my topics are unorthodox. And some people may like that and some people may not. But the parasocial relationship I built with some of you guys, it's nice to have somebody to relate to or talk to about things that people generally want to avoid. And I like reading the comments and you guys giving different perspectives or agreeing or disagreeing. I don't give the best advice all the time. I just share my perspective or several different perspectives on a topic. And some of you who may watch me, you might feel lonely as a person because you're not exactly what society accepts mainstream wise. And this goes back to what I was saying about how a lot of us struggle to even find a support system to begin with. Yeah, we're not meant to face life solo, but what can you do when that's all you have? You're a different person, so it's harder for you to make friends. I get it. You're considered weird by normal standards. It is what it is. And even though that's the case, that's good and the bad part of social media, because when you find yourself isolated, you try to find communities to be part of that make you feel comfortable. And that's how you end up, I don't know, subscribing to the Aku Anime or hanging out on certain websites or joining certain communities, right? And look, even when you do something like that, notice how you're becoming part of something. You want to be part of something deep down. It's just natural human instinct. Maybe you're just not somebody who wants to be part of many things, like myself, but at least you want to be part of a community of sorts. And sometimes it's not a bad thing to be part of multiple communities or step out of your comfort zone to make different types of friends. A lot of me being isolated as a person is because I've been stubborn. And I know a lot of y'all can relate to this, but oftentimes we are so stubborn, we don't want to break out of our shell, and it causes us to be alone. It doesn't hurt to try something different or become part of something else. And sometimes I also learn that life's greatest opportunities often come from interactions with other people. Once I started making more friends in person and they're different than me in person, I feel like I learned so much when it comes to dealing with other people and fixing my tolerance levels. Now I'm not as irritated when I'm talking to other people. Now I could look through different perspectives because somebody has a completely different personality than me. And you know what's hard about that is that a lot of people nowadays, and rather, I don't know why I say nowadays, since forever in history, a lot of people who have conflicting personalities tend to be hateful towards other things. You disagree with me, I'm mad at you. I'm hateful. I'm angry. I'm bitter. Okay, sometimes that happens. And I feel like I like people where we can be different and it doesn't feel like frustration or anger. It's like those connections where it's a mutual understanding rather than, oh, you're different than me, I'm going to be hateful or I'm going to be bitter. Friendships and relationships challenge your psyche. If your psyche is never challenged, you don't ever get to really open your horizon. You barely get a chance to learn through perspectives. Even though you can still learn perspectives as an isolated person, being around other people who are close to you can broaden those perspectives in a much more powerful way. Every person you meet, every connection you make, it offers an opportunity to learn something you could carry forward in life. Tell me if I'm lying. The main reason why life is not meant to be faced solo is because life is an ongoing event of encounters. And every encounter brings something new, whether it's good or bad, or it lasts a day or a lifetime. You learn from it. And this learning experience is not always obvious and immediate. Some people are very naive and act like they know everything because they have an expectation out of people already. I know people who have very little faith in humanity or low expectations of the people they meet and act like they know everything or how it's going to go. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't give things a chance, you don't get to learn any new lessons. Look, even a casual conversation with somebody who you just met can teach you a lot. When you learn from others, you become more empathetic and flexible of a personality. That even applies to difficult situations. We can all think of somebody in our past who angered us or made us upset, but instead of just being mad about it or going like, he or she did this to me and that, and they did this to me and that to me, well, take it as a learning experience. Now, this time, be more careful. And listen, we all screw up still. I've had many people who hurt me and backstab me, and yet I still make myself vulnerable in the same type of ways to the same people who could do the same to me again. You know what I'm saying? Life is like that though, because you eventually have to trust certain people if you want to broaden your perspectives even more. Unfortunately, that's one of the tough things about life, figuring out the right people to trust and risking trusting certain people. You know what I'm saying? Just remember, we're not meant to face life solo. And even if you are solo right now, hopefully this episode of the Aku Anime gives you a perspective on it. Not everyone can make friends, but don't be afraid to use social media to open your ideas a bit more, or look at different perspectives. Listen to podcasts. Listen to other people share their ideas. You don't have to be buddy with them to be tolerant and learn something new. That's how you build your relationship. Not relationship, personality. Because people always be talking about, and I don't know why I think I say relationship because people always be like, oh, just build your personality, bro. More people will like you. Well, I don't think it's ever that black and white, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And other people like yourself want to be accepted or tolerated. So you have to be tolerable to tolerate other people. You have to be understanding for others to also have people be understanding towards you. It's essentially a cycle. What you give is what you get, as they say, right? It may not always be the case, but you get what I mean. Anyway, this episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen.